Hello and good afternoon. My name is Esther Nystrom, and I will be starting our welcome to the Arizona Indian Education Association 2021 Educators Award Celebration. And to begin, we're going to start with our blessing, Mr. McGill Flores.
Los enseñó, Malia, Kukstash. Buenas tardes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Miguel Flores Jr. I'm a member of the Pasco Yaqui tribe and the Nahuatl Nation. My parents are Miguel D. Flores, Socia Mendoza Flores. My maternal grandparents are the late Juan Mendoza, Emilia Mendoza from the old Pasco community in Tucson. My paternal grandparents are the late Felix Flores from the Barrio Libre community and Defina Flores from San Javier District. These are my relations, and it's an honor to be here today to offer this blessing. So with your permission, I'd like to start. Señorita Machahata, we come to you today, Grandfather. We thank you for this day of life, which you bless upon us, Grandfather. We thank you for these relatives that are gathered here today, Grandfather. We ask you to bless every single one of us, Grandfather. Grandfather, we thank you for the morning trophy, the morning star, Grandfather, for the light that you give, for the warmth that you give us, Grandfather. We thank you for the elements of the south, Grandfather. We thank you for the warm rains which are being away, for the rains that bring life, the rains that bring growth, the rains that cleanse and heal us. We thank you for our inner peace, our inner calmness, and our child. We thank you for the elements of the west, Grandfather. We thank you for Mother Moon. We thank you for those ancestors that have passed on before, us, Grandfather. We ask them to give us their guidance, their strength, their wisdom, their courage. Grandfather, we thank you for the elements of the south. We thank you for the cold winds which bring our way. We thank you for the white snows. We thank you for the endurance which you have to teach, Grandfather. We thank you for the lessons of life and death which you teach. Where there's death, there's rebirth. Grandfather, we ask you to help us spiritually, physically, and mentally, to take away any impurities, any toxins that we live within us. We ask you to bless us from top of our head to bottom of our feet, to have good, strong minds, good, strong hearts, Grandfather. We ask prayers for all people, for all nations during this time, during these difficult times, Grandfather, that you can continue to keep us strong and healthy, Grandfather. We ask prayers for those relatives that are being acknowledged today, Grandfather. We ask prayers for all the work that this group of educators are doing for our communities, for our people, for our children. Once again, Grandfather, we thank you for this day. We thank you for these gifts. We thank you for this gathering. Amen and aho.
Oh. And thank you, Miguel. Next is the land acknowledgement, and we will be requesting Carlos Miramontes. Please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Can anyone hear me all right?
Yes.
All right, good. Just making sure my mic sometimes will lag. I'm very honored to be among all these educators this morning. Beside me right here, you'll see one of my indigenous educators in high school, Rafa Reyes, who without him, I wouldn't be where I am today, retracing my roots and honoring those before me. So to me, educators from all walks of life are very important, especially for indigenous peoples. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the land acknowledgement. If you can just join me in honor of this. So beneath the contemporary surface of any site in the United States, there are histories of the belonging that have been erased, overlooked, and contested and forgotten, all ways to support ideas such as manifest destiny, which justified the conquest of native lands. Between 1776 and 1887, the United States seized over 1.5 billion acres from America's indigenous peoples by treaty and executive order. There are currently 574 sovereign tribal nations, variously called tribes, nations, bands, pueblos, communities, and native villages that have formal nation-to-nation relationship with the United States government. There were 334 federally and state-recognized American Indian reservations in 2010. These 574 tribal nations are located across 35 states and within the geographic borders of the United States. Even with the US borders, each tribal nation exercises its own sovereignty. Each of the 574 tribal governments is legally defined as a federally recognized tribal nation. Every community owes its existence and vitality 2 generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment in time. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land for more generations than can be counted. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building a mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We begin this effort to acknowledge what has been buried by honoring the truth. Today, we acknowledge the ancestral lands of the Akmeo Atam and the Pipash people upon which our AIEA headquarters stands. I also happen to be on the same ancestral lands here at the Arizona State University campus in Tempe. We pay respects to their elders, past and present. Please take a moment to consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that brings us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events. That's all. Thank you so much for having me. I'm, like I said, very honored. My family comes from southern region of Zacatecas, ancestral lands of the Cascana and Tildense peoples. My grandmother maternal is Rosalina Jacobo Vera, and my maternal grandpa, Marcos Medrano. My paternal grandparents, Lupe Miramontes and Jesus Tree Miramontes, all from the same region, to which I honor my ancestors and retrace my roots. Again, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to see all of these educators being honored and respected in ways that we respect them today. And I can only hope that we continue to bring educators together in times where education and ignorance are at odds, even as today as we speak about acknowledging the land, both to indigenous and non-indigenous people. So again, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Carlos, thank you as well. We definitely want to make sure that we acknowledge the tribes and the land that we're located on. So, yeah, thank you. Yat shikedo shidane she turachini nishle biligana pashachin ashihi tashiche biligana dashanawi she Esther Nystrom Inishia. Good afternoon. My name is Esther Nystrom, and I am the Vice President for the Arizona Indian Education Association. We just have a small change in our agenda for today. Ms. Kim is unable to speak, so I will be walking us through our awards celebration for today. And so to continue, I would like to welcome you to the 2021 Educators Awards celebration for the Arizona Indian Education Association. In education, there are many professionals that assist Native students to academically succeed. For some, it's support staff. For others, it may be an administrator. And for even others, it could be a community member or cultural leader. Most of the time, many of these valued individuals are overlooked for recognition. The awards to be given honor those educators who passionately and proactively support American Indian students. And so we have a special guest with us this afternoon. I'd like to have our keynote speaker come on shortly. Go ahead and unmute yourself. And she is Lynette Stant, who is the 2020 Arizona Teacher of the Year and a third grade teacher at Salt River Elementary School. Welcome, Lynette.
Hi, everybody. Esther, can I share my screen? So before I get started, I'd like to introduce myself. Yad Eshe Lynette Stant Yen Shet, Sandra Kininshle, but Dadni Bashashin, Sitna Jini Dashache, Todachini Dashanala, Akut Ego Dene Sanshle. Skuktash, Anianap Chigig, Lynette Stant. I am so happy to be here, and I want to thank Esther and Linan for inviting me to be part of this event, and also to be able to really learn the work of the American Indian Education Association over this past year. Believe it or not, I didn't really know about this organization until I became Arizona Teacher of the Year. So it's been really nice to see such a wonderful support organization helping our Indigenous students and educators here in the Valley. So like I said, my name is Lynette Stant, and I'm going to, let's see here. Can you see my presentation, Esther?
Yes.
Okay. So what a year, well, actually what a past 2 years it has been as we have felt the effects of this pandemic. And as an educator, I have not felt it more than I have been in the classroom. And as a teacher, even right now, my students and I are doing virtual learning. We were back in the classroom for like 2 weeks, and then we went virtual again. Then we were back in the classroom for another week, and now we're virtual again. So it's been, you know, changes for everybody, not only educators, but students and their families as well. And so if there is anything, if I could put a word to this past couple of years, it's definitely the word resiliency. Resiliency, you know, for Indigenous people means a lot of things. There is really truly depth in that word when we talk about resiliency. When I talk about it as a teacher, it really connects me to my classroom and seeing how resilient my students and my families are, and the strength that is truly woven into their being. And, you know, strength is one of those things that for Indigenous people, it's been there for a long time. And so one of the things that I've been thinking about over this past couple of years is what frames our future and what frames the future of our students. So I grew up in Crown Point, New Mexico. It's a little town kind of between Grants and Gallup. And that's where my dad is from. So this is my class at Crown Point Elementary, and my teacher's name was Miss Grindell. And while I was a student at Crown Point, I never had an Indigenous educator. And it wasn't until I actually moved to Arizona, we moved to Tuba City, Arizona, and that was when I first encountered my first Indigenous teacher. And what a wonderful thing for me to see as a young child, because I never imagined myself being an educator. That being a teacher was never in my mind. I always wanted to follow in the footsteps of my mother because she was my role model, and my mother was a secretary and she worked for the land office. And so that's what I wanted to do, but never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I was going to be a teacher. And definitely not did I ever think I was going to be the 2020 Arizona Teacher of the Year. So, but when I look back on all my educators, I think about the passion that they presented in their classrooms. Miss Grindell was such a passionate teacher, and Mr. Archambault, who was my first Indigenous teacher, he was Hopi and my first male teacher actually, and the passion he had in teaching us as, you know, second graders. I still think about those things as an educator, and that's what I want to bring forth to my classroom. And I hope that the passion comes through as, you know, as you work in your school district. As Arizona's Teacher of the Year, I've been privy to attend. I've been invited to places that, you know, typically Indigenous teachers aren't represented in, and one of those places was the National Teacher of the Year platform. I am the only Indigenous teacher, well, up until now, because now Oregon's teacher of the year is also Indigenous. She's, I think she's Tlingit and Apache. So now there's two of us, but, you know, and she's the 2021 Oregon Teacher of the Year. But prior to that, the National Teacher of the Year cohort did not have Indigenous representation. And so what I find in my work working with this organization is that we have to keep bringing it back to how are we supporting our students of color and our teachers of color. And, you know, we need those voices to advocate for our classrooms and to advocate for those spaces that allow our students to be in those spaces. Because if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. And so my role as working with the National Teacher of the Year cohort has been really instrumental and has made me realize how representation does matter. This past summer, I had the opportunity to attend Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama. And the whole experience was absolutely amazing. And when I got on the plane, the first thing I thought of was the movie Spaceballs. I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have a Spaceball moment when we go to Space Camp. But I also was just, one of the things that I said to myself was, I am going to try everything. I don't care if it involved heights. I don't care if it involved speed. I don't care if it made my knees hurt. I was going to try everything. And the reason I had that mindset was because that's what I want my students to do. I want them to try everything and not let fear get in the way of them being in these spaces. Space Camp was actually really difficult because you definitely saw the marginalization of people of color. You know, they don't elevate our voices in space, in the space realm or in the astronaut realm. And I could see it in everything that we did. And so, you know, being able to be in that area with all these engineers and these astronauts and other teachers of the year, at the end of the day, sometimes brought me to tears, because I really hope that my students, my little students at Salt River Elementary School, you know, someday have the opportunity to be in this place. And I tell my students, and I showed them this picture, and I took my spacesuit to school on the first day, and they were trying it on, and it was so big, and we had to roll up sleeves and we had to roll up legs, but it gave them that feeling of, I can be an astronaut, or I can be an engineer. And we took pictures, and, you know, we wrote about it. And so they were really excited about that. And I was telling them, I said, you know, being in science, whether you're in space or whether you're in the field of you want to become an astronaut, I was like, it's open to everybody in all skill levels. I was like, you don't have to have a college degree to work here. I was like, they need everybody to be part of this program. And that was one of the things I learned about Space Camp, is they don't typically look for people who have the engineering degree or the science degree or the doctorate or anything like that. They look for people that fit. And if you are a fit and you, whatever your experience is, they need you. And so that was the message I wanted to get to my kids. And I think as an educator, sometimes we get stuck in thinking that all kids have to go to college. And so And that's been a shift for me. That mindset has been a shift for me, because, you know, that's what we want, we hope for our students. But there is so much value in all areas and in all their experiences. And as an educator, I want to make sure that my students know that, and they value that, and value what they bring to the table. One of the things that as a National Teacher of the Year that we're always asked is, how are you going to show up? How are you showing up into all the spaces that you occupy? And that's one of the things I tell my students every single day. How are we showing up today for school? Tell me, be open with me. Today, my strength is like this big. Mrs. Stant, I had a bad night and I don't think I'm going to be a good student today. And so, you know, that kind of truth and a student identifying that kind of truth is really important to me as an educator. And so that's one of the messages that I want to get across to my students. In this picture, we got to build rockets. Never in my life have I built a rocket of this magnitude. And if you can see the tree line in the back, that's probably about a half a mile away. So when I shot my rocket, it actually went way past the tree line. So it had good force behind it. And so when I shared this picture with my students, I said, you know, this year we're going to build rockets. And they were so excited about that. And had I not had this experience, I would have been reluctant to try it with my kids. But, you know, now that I know it's a doable project, and I'm so excited to present this to my students. And this is, you know, going, and it's required some work because, you know, going in front of my principal, asking her for the supplies, and it's costing a lot of money, and we're going to have to ask for special permission to, you know, light the rockets in the in the field, the play field area, and that kind of stuff. And, you know, all of that, the students are willing to take upon themselves. And so that's really exciting. As teacher of the year, I could have not have gotten through my year without support. And it's really important. And I hope all the people in this awards ceremony and those who are not here, your administrators, other classroom teachers, I hope they really stand with me when we think about the word support. How are we supporting each other? How are we supporting our students? What things are we putting in place to ensure the success of everybody? You know, these past 2 years, one of the things that I've really held on to was being honest with my administrator and having truly hard conversations, telling her, this is how I feel today as a teacher. This is how I feel about moving to virtual after only being back in the classroom for a week. This is what it feels like to have all this stuff coming at me at one time. And as my administrator, who is just absolutely amazing, has allowed her to see the life of a teacher through a different lens. And so when I think about support, I think about all the people that allow me to do what I do and to continue my even
One moment, I'll go ahead and mute that individual. Excuse me, Mr. Brown, can you, thank you. Okay.
You know, even Esther and Lynette, they've been such supportive people through my journey as teacher of the year. And so they've helped me continue my passion of work, which is being a teacher. Everybody says, oh, are you going to be administrator now? And it's like, no, I really like the classroom. Like, that's where I find my passion. I have no desire to be an administrator. And sometimes people look at me kind of weird about that. But my work is with students. And so one of the things that I've really learned to do was to reach out to others and ask for support. And as an independent Indigenous woman, that was probably the hardest thing for me to do, was to reach out to people and say, hey, can you help me? And ask questions and have tough conversations. But all of those things I need for support. And so as you go back to your organizations and you engage with students and you engage with other educators, think about how you are supporting their passion and the work that you do with students. How are you allowing others to reach out to you? How are you showing up? How are you answering questions? Or are you even allowing questions to happen? And how are you addressing those tough conversations? And so I think about those things all the time, and I think about it with my students. You know, when we transitioned to virtual learning this past week, we were told on a Sunday evening. And, you know, Monday we showed up to work and packed up learning packets and laptops and you know, we were starting online teaching on Tuesday. And then by 2 o'clock, it was like, wow, I still have, you know, 10 bags of laptops here. And then it began, I'm driving around to every single student whose laptop I have and delivering it to their house. And that connection itself, that support that I put in place that afternoon allowed me to touch base with grandmas, with aunties, with uncles, with single dads, with single moms, and reassure them that I am here for them, that virtual teaching, you know, can be scary, but we're here, we're gonna walk through this together. And so, but I wouldn't have been able to do that without the support of others. So definitely as an educator, and when you go back into your spaces, please think about that. How are we supporting each other? And I want to close up by saying, finding your focus and voice. This is really important for my students. I want them to find their focus and to find their voice. I follow Dr. Rosa Lemesa on Instagram, and she just posted this a while ago. It says, your ancestors dreamed you into being not so that you could survive, but so that you could thrive. And as a teacher, I want my students to thrive, not just survive, but to thrive. And so remembering my passion, being resilient, even in the midst of a pandemic, truly helps me help students find their focus and find their voice. I want to thank you, Esther and Lynette, for inviting me here this afternoon. You can follow me on Instagram at Teachin' Beauty, and I thank you for your time. Are there any questions? Trying to get back to the.
Lynette,
Yes.
Esther, thank you so very much. And it is always an educator's, excuse me, it is always an advantage to work with other educators and get ideas to bounce off one another and move forward in educating our students. And that's why we're here today.
Yes.
So thank you very much. Absolutely. So next on the agenda is we're going to do a little bit of live auction. We do have some items here that were donated. Actually, all of these items were donated to help benefit the new teachers who are in colleges right now and getting ready to take their state examinations. Those can be quite expensive, especially if you're going to be accredited in different areas. So that price does come up, and they're not teachers yet, they're still in school. So we want to go through this auction, and the benefits from this will be going to those students as they come into taking those examinations. And so we do have in the chat here that if you see any of the items that you would like to bid on, please text the number in the chat. That is 480-452-4867. If you had a chance to look on our website, those pictures do not do justice of the items that were donated. So I'm going to take a little walk over here. Just don't get dizzy. sharing my screen now. So what I'm gonna do is close your eyes just for a second. I'm gonna flip it over here. Okay. Just one second. And so what we have here first is the Bluebird set. It comes with a coffee mug, 2 coasters, and a mouse. This auction item is number 4800. The minimum bid is $10. And this was made by a Mesa resident who is Navajo, Leanne Gutierrez. Her business is LB Design, and she has other items for sale on her Facebook page. That is LB Design. Next, we have these. Oops, excuse me. I'm trying to figure out how to work this camera. Apologies. Here we have these earrings here. They are beaded fringe earrings with the brick stitch style. Size 11 Czech glass beads. They're about 5 inches long, 1.5 inches wide, with sterling silver hooks. This auction item number is 4743. The minimum bid is $10. Next are these here. I did say they were long earrings and mask holder. This is auction item number 4760 with a minimum bid of $10. Once again, auction item 4760. We have a pair of purple beaded earrings. These ones are currently sitting with a minimum bid of $20. That auction item number is 5001. So when you text, you'll text the item number and then the price you would like to bid. Next, we have pink pearl earrings. Absolutely lovely. These are made by Miss Jerry Thomas, who is Navajo and also the secretary for AIEA. Auction item number 5002, and we're currently sitting at $15. So the next bid for those would be 20. Auction item number 5002. Our next item for auction is auction item number 6001. This is a Navajo rug for Sacred Mountains. The width is $12. Length is, the width is 12 inches. Length 10 inches. The colors are black, pink, white, gray, and red. And this was loomed by Monique Sosi, who is Navajo. It is a personal design reflecting growth in life while protected by the Navajo for Sacred Mountains, from Mother Earth to Father Sky. We're currently at $200. So the next bid would be 205. And that is item number 6001. The next item for auction is the swirled mirror medallion. This is, it has a mirrored shape. It's 4.5 inches. It's beaded all the way around. We're currently looking, sitting at $50. So as we bid, it would be in $5 increments. I'm sorry. There we go. Now we can get some color. Let's get in nice and close. Absolutely lovely. Got the brass findings here, and it's beaded all the way up the neck. This is auction item number 4700, donated by Jack's Native Creation, and that is JAKS. If you don't get a chance to bid right now, you can always go to his website. Here's his information. And this is also located on our web page as well. Also our Facebook page. We've been advertising these, and you can find a link there. Next item for auction is the orange silk ribbon skirt, item number 4765. The minimum bid for this is $20. It is lovely, silky, with the 3 layers of ribbon and lace on the bottom. The waist is 29 inches and can be stretched out to 33, 34 inches, and the length is 27 inches. For a full adult, that lays, if it's on your natural waist, it will come right about to the knee. If you wear it a little bit lower, it'll go to under the knee. Item number 4765. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry, one more minute. This was created by Miss Linda Yazzie from Chinle, Arizona, and was donated. The color was chosen to commemorate and remember the lost children found at the First Nation boarding schools. These next pictures are from students at Mesa Public Schools who attended a STEAM summer camp and donated these. The focus of one of the days that they learned was about where different Navajo rugs were located and in those designs. So this is created after the Navajo rug style storm pattern. This is on canvas. The paint is acrylic. It is an 11 by 14 with a wooden frame included. This auction item number is 4744, and the minimum bid for these paintings are $40. This is the created in the Navajo rug style wide ruins, auction number 4745. This is also the wide ruins, number 4746. This one is also in the Navajo rug style wide ruins. The wide ruins pattern is similar to the crystal rug, which are made from using natural dyes, shades of greens, reds, black, and oranges. And this was created by an 8th grade student. This right here is the ganado style. It's located southwest of the Crystal in the geographic center of the Navajo Reservation. The ganado style of weaving was established in the 1800s. The design consists of one or more stepped diamonds or embellished triangles. And this was created by a 7th grader. And the auction item number is 4750. And this is the Navajo rug style tree of life. and this bid is currently sitting at $45. If you would like to bid on this one. The Tree of Life rug design is from the region in the northern part of Navajo Nation known as Cedar Ridge, Arizona. The Tree of Life is a symbolic pattern that has been in existence for over 150 years. The corn stalk represents progression, way of life, and creation itself. This rendition is the Tree of Life, auction item number 4751. This colorful piece here is also after the ganado style. The style of weaving was established in the late 1800s and made by a Zuni 7th grader. This auction item number is 4752, sitting at $40. This here is made after the storm pattern. Auction item number 4753. This is a regional design traditionally woven in the Cameron area on the Western Navajo Reservation. The artist uses vibrant colors to show contrast against the brown Arizona landscape created by a Navajo 7th grader. This one here is a rendition of the Chinle style Navajo rug. The style is named for the town of Chinle at the mouth of Canyon de Chelly. The Chinle characteristics are horizontal bands containing chevrons, Chinle stars, squash blossoms, and diamonds. This one is created by a 7th grader and currently sitting at $40. The auction item number is 4754. This is the last painting. It is made in the style of the ganado. Auction item number 4757. The design consists of one or more stepped diamonds or embellished triangles. The colors are usually dominated by a red background with gray, ivory, black, and red designs surrounded by a geometric border. This rendition is created by a Navajo 8th grader and currently sitting at $40. The auction item number is 4757. Just gonna do a scroll by real quick. If you would like to make a bid on any of these items, you are more than welcome to, and you would text 480-452-4867. All right, give us 1 second to transition. All right, and in the PowerPoint, you'll see here that's going to be shared. There are the item numbers if you didn't get them the first time. All right, and so moving forward, we would like to thank our generous support by our turquoise sponsors. In order to be a turquoise sponsor, you have to donate at least $3,000. And so we would like to thank Arizona State University, the Office of American Indian Policy Institute, also U of A, Native American Initiatives, Native American Advancement and Tribal Engagement, and the Native Peoples Technical Assistance Office. And for our supporting partners, we'd like to thank them as well. We are currently on the Amphitheater Public Schools office, and that's where we are hosting today's event. We'd like to also thank the Intertribal Council of Arizona for their support as well. The awards were, they gave a large amount, and the awards for today come from the Coyote Store, which is located on the Tohono O'odham Nation of Arizona. Also, in supporting partners and donations, we'd like to thank the Mesa Public Schools Native American Education Program for their donations of, and the students especially for their paintings. LB Design, which is located on Facebook, and also the donation from Jack's Native Creations. So thank you very much for your donations. If you would like to donate an item, you are more than still welcome to, because we will have auctions later on this year. Okay, and so we get to a very special moment in our award ceremony. I am going to be handing this over to Lynette Yazi, who will be walking through our 2021 announcement of AIEA nomination awardees. Lynette.
Hi everybody, Yate, Shailen and Yazi and Shet, what headline in the Shanado, my dish, kitchen brushes chain, Scatnez, I need the shade dog, Kiani, additional inlet that Nasha. Hi, thanks again everybody for joining us. And now we come to the moment you've all been waiting for, time to recognize our amazing awardees right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and read the award. I'm going to announce who the recipient of the award is. And then we have a short video of the recipient. And then the recipients, if you're here and you want to turn on your camera or just turn on your mic and you want, you can have a minute or so to have time for live remarks if you would like to, okay? So our first award is gonna go to Miss Kelsey Franklin, who is receiving the Teachers 1 to 5 Years Award. And Ms. Franklin is a freshman English language arts teacher who just completed her 5th year at Betty Fairfax High School. Kelsey's youthful spirit brings a wonderful energy, not only to her classroom, but to the many events and activities that she volunteers for in school and throughout the district. She co-sponsors the Betty Fairfax Native American Youth Council, volunteers for Native American Education Program events, and devotes weeks during the summertime to the NAEP program, summer programming. Ms. Franklin has a positive approach when working with Native students and is an incredible asset to the Native American education programs in Phoenix Union High School District. So congratulations, Kelsey, and we're going to go ahead and play your video.
Yat Kelsey Franklin Yanishia, Trapahanishle, my Deshkishni Bashichin, the Tahni Dashache, do Tratnizani Dashanale, Kut Audana Stanishle. Hello, everyone. I am Kelsey Franklin. I am originally from Shiprock, New Mexico, and I work here in Levine at Betty Fairfax High School. This is my 6th year, and I teach freshman English inclusion. And I just wanted to extend my gratitude upon receiving this award through the Arizona Indian Education Association. I am very proud to represent our Native people here on campus, and I enjoy working with our Native youth here. We're trying to get more students involved in our Native Youth Council, so it's really exciting, and I just, again, wanted to express my gratitude. Yeah, thank you.
There right, here we have Miss Franklin, and Miss Franklin, you will be receiving a necklace with an Autumn woven basket. And so this is going to be your award. So congratulations, and you're free to say something right now if you'd like to.
Yes, thank you very much. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, yay. I know the audio was a little difficult to hear, so I'll just briefly introduce myself. Oh, it's so good to see everyone. Yes, please turn on your cameras if you have them. She'e Kelsey Franklin Unishia. Tchapahanishle, my deshkijni bashashin. Bit ahni dashache do, tchahnazani dashanelle. Kut out and sanishle. Hello, everyone. I'm Kelsey Franklin. I am originally from Shiprock, New Mexico, and I am currently in my 6th year of teaching at Betty Fairfax High School. And first and foremost, I just want to say that I'm honored to receive the Johnson O'Malley Award for this year, 2021. Our keynote speaker spoke a lot on, just the difficulties that educators are facing. Particularly, I mean, I want to say like within the past 2 years, a lot of a roller coaster of emotions, and, having to roll with the punches, so to speak. Educators have been called to, just as she mentioned, like, I'm grateful that I'm this year, like things are staying consistent for us. We are remaining in person, but I can't imagine having to go back and forth between virtual and in person. So I definitely applaud everyone who's, continuing to work with, all youth, but particularly Native youth. I also wanted to extend my gratitude to the AIEA, along with the Intertribal Council of Arizona, Miss Lynette Stant as well. I'm very grateful to work under her as well through PXU and our Native program. Other people that I give thanks to, excuse me, my family. I know a couple of you are tuned in right now. I appreciate you being here. My whole family lives back in New Mexico, so it really means a lot. I see my sister there. And also my colleagues, my co-teacher Kimberly, Miss Han. I really can't do what I do without her. And also my Nicholas, thank you for being here as well. And I just wanted to add too that, this type of work is not accomplished. We all know we have, without, a strong and consistent, solid support system. I'm sure we can all speak to that, those of us that are here. And particularly, I wanted to shout out those of you that work with and for Native youth. I feel like the more I work where I am, I've definitely seen a lot of the value in that, and being able to, sorry, I'm trying not to get emotional. Being someone that students see, our Native students in particular. I was fortunate to have grown up with several Native teachers, but I have had a couple of students approach me and say, I've never had a Native teacher before, our Native kids. And so I think it's, it's really important that they see us in, a positive way, to know that we are behind them and, that we support them ultimately. I see my nephew there. Hi. And again, I mean, it's difficult and challenging in its own unique way working with Native youth. Their needs and the type of support that you provide them is very specific. And I think it definitely takes people who, come from similar backgrounds and understand, different things that they are going through. But I do continue. It's really been challenging for me this year, I will say, but I do plan on continuing with love and grace and kindness to all of our Native babies. And yeah, let's continue the good work, the great work, I should say. But yeah, thank you again so much.
Thank you, Kelsey, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Okay, and our next award is going to Miss LaDonna Crabb for the Teachers 6 to 15 Years Award. So thank you very much, LaDonna, for what you do. And I will go ahead and just talk a little bit about Ms. Crab here. She is Cocopah. She is a teacher mentor at Valle del Canto, serves as a 4th grade English language arts teacher within the Somerton School District. She's from the community whose goal was to return back home and is teaching within a district that serves Cocopah students. Ms. Crab enjoys teaching, especially working with American Indian students from her community. In addition, she also provides insight of sharing her culture with new district employees and organizes cultural events at her school. She volunteers her time providing the information because she would like to ensure that American Indian students are well represented. Sorry about that. Okay, we will video now.
Hi, my name is LaDonna Crabb, and this is my 14th year teaching within the Somerton School District. I am a wife, a mom of 3, and a member of the Cocopah Church of the Nazarene, where my parents, who are retired teachers, are full-time pastors. 7 years ago, our Cocopah students were relocated to a new school. I realized then I didn't become a teacher to be comfortable, that I became one to make a difference and to be an example, not only to a community I grew up in and that I am from, but amongst my own Cocopah people. So I followed them. Each year I share and explain what culture is to our students and to our new teachers who enter our Somerton School District. Our students have a hard time explaining their culture when they have a beautiful one to share. In college, I remember being asked if I lived in a teepee, and I was upset by this and shared it with my mom, who explained, well, how are people going to know unless you share, explain, and teach it? So I understood it's hard to explain culture when you are living it. I am proud to be a Cocopah teacher who teaches in a district where our students attend. My Cocopah students will have seen me, heard of me, and will have known that I was there for them. Thank you for this recognition. We don't become teachers to be rich. We, Native teachers, do it to make a difference for our people, our community, and for the generations that follow. Thank you.
I will go ahead and give this time to Ms. Crab if you would like to say something.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for this recognition. Yes, Oka, I am from the Cocopah tribe down here in Somerton, Arizona. We border the Mexican border and California, so we're right at the very corner of Arizona. This is my 14th year teaching. I love it. I attended college in San Diego where I thought I would stay. And nope, I was called to become a teacher and come back home. The question was asked if I ever lived in a teepee growing up, and I looked at them like, what? No. I was upset by the question, and I then explained it to my mom, and that's where she said, well, how are people going to know unless you share it, you explain it, and come back home and explain it to our own people. So that's what led me to come back home. I've been back home now for 14 years. Brought my husband from San Diego, nice to hot weather here, so we love it. And I don't plan on leaving. I plan to continue my educational degree for national board and eventually, hopefully one day, be a principal. I do love the school district, and I do love being there for our Cocopah students where they see a Cocopah teacher. Thank you to Ms. Arredondo. I see that she is logged in for the shout out. We like to be recognized. It feels good. You know, appreciation is always a good feeling. So congratulations to you teachers. Again, we don't do it for the bucks, I know, but we do it to make a difference, to be an example amongst our people, amongst our community, and for those generations that will follow. So thank you.
Great. And LaDonna, you will be receiving an Autumn basket. And let's see, it was made by Liana Joaquin from the village of Santa Rosa, and it is a split stitch basket. So congratulations. Okay. And the next award that we're going to be presenting is going to be the 16+ years in education. And that is an amazing feat in and of itself. So 16+ years in education. The award goes to Manny Pino. And Manny is Acoma Pueblo, recently retired, but has served over 25 years as the American Indian Studies Sociology faculty and director of Sustaining and Advancing Indigenous Nations at Scottsdale Community College. He has a long record of service, advocacy, and leadership in the American Indian community. He has assisted in areas of state, national, and international level advocating for Indigenous rights in education, health rights, land issues, climate, and the many injustices that still exist. Mr. Pino has demonstrated leadership and guides students to develop their leadership within the educational and surrounding community, but also within their own communities in the work that they do in the classroom. So congratulations, Mr. Pino. Unfortunately, he is not able to join us today. However, we do have Michael Littlecrow, who is going to say a few words on behalf of Mr. Pino.
Thank you, Lynette. My good friend Manny Pino, his mother passed away this recently, so he's back home taking care of his family needs. But I just wanted to speak to his years, how as an educator he's really set a wonderful example for us all. He definitely teaches his students well. He puts all his effort into that. My wife was one of his students in sociology. And his way of teaching inspired her to keep going, along with many other teachers. But she just got her doctorate this last spring. So, and Manny has many stories of his students who have gone on and gotten advanced education and are serving for the good of the community. But he also educated his colleagues like myself. It was wonderful serving for 14 years with Manny. And now as an adjunct, but within our community, he was really our elder all along. We'd always wanted a dean of Indigenous studies, and while he wasn't that in formal name, he certainly was that in his actions. He also worked to educate our administration about Indigenous rights, Indigenous thoughts. Our administration at one time had sought out funding from mining companies. And if those of you who know Manny, he was a staunch proponent of the effects of mining in Native communities, especially his own. So he was able to forcefully speak to the administration about the short-sightedness of such a proposal. And of course, he was invited by many European nations as well to speak on the issue of uranium mining and the damage it does to the environment, to the people. So Manny is, but if he were here, he wouldn't tell you so much. He's such a humble man, but he has done many great things, and we are very honored to have him as our elder statesman as he continues to serve his community. So that's Manny Pino. Thank you for this honor.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much for that. And congratulations again to Manny. He will be receiving this awesome basket as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful basket, which was made by George Francisco from the Enegam village and is also split stitch style. So congratulations, Manny. Okay, in our next award, we're actually going to go ahead and present the Founders Award right now. And the Founders Award is going to Mr. Alfred Yazzie. So congratulations, Mr. Yazzie. We'll play his video here in a minute. And I know that I did see him online, but a little bit about Mr. Yazzie. He is Navajo. He has been an educator for over 30 years and teaches specifically Dinebazad since the early 1990s. Mr. Yazzie has dedicated much of his life to promoting the importance of learning one's language. He develops his own curriculum, creates lessons, and writes exams on his own, as he is the only Navajo language teacher in his district. Mr. Yazzie has developed a great relationship with his students and has taught Dinebazad at several colleges as well. He also assists with being an advisor for the Cesar Chavez and the Central Youth Councils as well. So thank you, Mr. Yazzie. We're going to go ahead and play his video right now, and then we'll give him a little bit of time afterwards if he'd like to say anything.
My name is Alfred Yazzie, and thank you for the opportunity that you have given me here. I was raised on the Black Mesa and the reservation. My mother is of the Nearwater clan, and my father is of the Minicoats clan. I am very honored to be nominated by a former student and recognized by your organization. And I thank you, Lynette, and to acknowledge the length of time that I have been teaching. I did not intend to become a language purveyor when a friend and instructor of Lynette told me to apply for her position at ASU. But now, many years later, here I am. Along the way, I have been shown many things in many fields, but I continue to teach. As a discussion with a former friend and colleague, thank you, Gary. When we discussed what is the best way to teach it, he just said, just speak it. And I appreciate that and try to live up to that. Thank you for this award.
Okay, Mr. Yazzie, if you would like to say a few words, now's your time.
Really, do I have to? Oh, geez. Okay. I am from top of Black Mesa, up in the central part of Navajo Reservation. I was raised by my grandmother, so I learned my grandmother's language. And in 1 year, and I went on a Mormon placement program. In 1 year, I forgot my language. I came home in the spring, and she retaught me the language. I never lost it again. And that's what keeps me going. I know that it is possible to continue to speak it. I know that anybody can learn it if the effort is made. Today, I have students that are non-Navajo and Navajo, but I try to bring that enthusiasm, the way of storytelling that my grandma taught me, to teach the language. Oh, Girl Founders Award. I didn't realize I had been teaching that long. It's kind of surprised. But anyway, thank you, Lynette, and thank you for the organization to recognize me in the Founders Award. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Yazzie, you'll be receiving a beautiful autumn basket. This was made by Georgia Francisco and is made of yucca, bear grass, and is the split stitch design as well. So congratulations.
Roshi. Yeah.
Okay, and we will move on to the next award. And our next award goes to Miss Nadine Gronick, for serving the community award. And let me just read a little bit about Miss Gronick here, who is Laguna Pueblo. And she's also the CEO of Siena and Southwest Institute for the Education of Native Americans and Save Our Schools Arizona Network, tribal outreach consultant. Ms. Gronig has over 17 years of experience working with education initiatives for the American Indian community and also held various positions with the Arizona Department of Education. She continues to demonstrate her advocacy for tribal educational programs and provides culturally relevant professional development opportunities, conducts educational and family conferences, and provides leadership training for American Indian students. So thank you for everything that you do, Nadine. And we do have a video that we're going to go ahead and play right now.
Gawadzi, Hiname Suchietza. Hi, I'm Nadine Granig, and I'm a member of the Laguna Pueblo in New Mexico. I've been in Indian education for almost 20 years now, and I spent almost 18 years at the Arizona Department of Education as a Title I program specialist and director of Indian education. I've also been in the nonprofit world for more than 15 years. In June of 2020, I started my own business called Sun Clan Consulting. So we provide professional development for educators, counselors, and administrators, and we work to empower Native American parents and family members to advocate for their children. And the most fun of all is we do leadership academies with Native American students. One of the things I'm most proud of recently has to do with providing internet connectivity for more than 50 Navajo Nation families and more than 70 hydro panels for them to get good, clean drinking water in their homes. So I am just very proud to receive the honor today from the Arizona Indian Education Association for serving the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nadine. And now we can, you have a little bit of time right now if you'd like to say a few words.
Okay, thank you so much. I had to laugh at the video, and when you first started, I looked like I was in shock. And then you could see how tired I am because of all the many years I put in. But anyway, I kind of feel like also an Oscar winner, you know, when they say I wasn't prepared for this. So I've been thinking, what can I say? I mean, it's been a long time. I just want to mention, my mother was full-blooded Laguna Pueblo. She's a survivor of boarding school. She unfortunately bought into what was pounded into their heads, basically, was not to teach their children their language. So unfortunately, I only know some words and phrases. I understand, of course, more than I can say, more than I can speak. But I'm trying to learn some more vocabulary. And she was a strong woman. Like I said, she survived. She was tough. You know, she was definitely mistreated in the boarding school that she went to. And then my father was Caucasian, and he led more by example. Very, very quiet man. You know, the stereotype of the quiet Indian, or what's the word they use for stoic. My mom didn't fit, but my dad did, ironically. So he kind of just showed me what to do, and the worst thing that you could be in his view was a liar. You know, so they're both gone now, so I'm getting emotional, but they both taught me a lot and taught me how to give back and to be a good friend and supporter and a good family member. At least I tried my best to be. And speaking of family, my older sister, Judith Castellano, is viewing this now, and I thank her for her support. Her Laguna name is Kiwaitsa, and she taught me the importance of reading. She's a librarian, retired now a couple times, and she got me signed up for my first book club, and I love getting those new books in the mail, and I just love to read. I still do. They smelled so good. But she also taught me about activism, and I think she took me on my first, kind of walk in support of animal rights. And she's involved in so many different causes, and I'm very proud of her. We never say these things to each other, but now she can hear it for herself that I am proud of her, and I appreciate everything she's done for me. And all of my family members have contributed to help me. That bio you read, I don't want to go on too long, I'm sorry, but the bio you read, Lynette, was a little bit old. I'm not with Sienna anymore. That's the Southwestern Institute for the Education of Native Americans. That's a nonprofit I founded after actually working with AIEA for 4 years. And I'm proud to say that I was part of that team that actually got the nonprofit status established for AIEA. And so sort of come full circle. But I started my own business last June called SunClan Consulting. And but with Sienna, my brother actually designed our logo. He also contributed to the logo for SunClan Consulting. And my other brother golfed in our fundraiser. And, my younger sister gives support where she can. Unfortunately, we lost our brother, Bob, before I graduated college. But anyway, I'm very grateful for this. As other people have said, we don't do it for the accolades or for the, certainly not for the money. We do it because it's our passion and where our heart is. So I thank you so much for acknowledging all the hard work.
Yes, and thank you, Nadine, for everything that you do, that you have done, and that you continue to do. And thank you for, updating, letting us know what you're up to now. So that's wonderful. You'll be receiving, it's actually a brass. It's actually a really beautiful brass basket. It's an Otham style. It actually was made by an Otham artist, and his name is Michael Black Owl. So you'll be receiving this basket.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, we will move on to our next award, which is the Unsung Hero Award. And this goes to Miss Maria Anaya. And Miss Anaya is Santo Domingo, Pueblo, Navajo, and Mexican. She's a student liaison at Betty Fairfax High School within the Phoenix Union High School District. She's a very caring and passionate employee who works with students while working with Native American students and shows such kindness to all. She takes special care of her role in working with students and willing to learn the roots of the O'odham Native American students that are in the school. She does go above and beyond by also educating her colleagues and her peers about different traditions and cultures so that they can better understand their students. And Ms. Anaya also is the advisor for the Betty Fairfax Native American Youth Council. She does attend and participate in the Education Parent Committee meetings as well. And she's always, making herself available to help with Native American education events as well. So congratulations, Ms. Anaya. And unfortunately, she could not be here today, but she did want me to let you all know that she greatly appreciates this award and that she is sorry that she can't be here, but I'm sure that she will watch this video afterwards. So congratulations, Maria. And she will be receiving, let me get her award so I can show you all here. Okay, here we go. She's gonna get it's a turtle. It's a like pottery turtle, and it has the man in the maze symbol on top. So that's what she will be receiving for her award. We do have a video from Miss Anaya, so we're gonna play that now.
Hi, my name is Maria Anaya, Mexican, Santo Domingo, Pueblo, and Navajo. I work at Betty Fairfax High School. I'm a student liaison. I'm the recipient of the Unsung Hero Award, and I want to say thank you to AIEA, ITCA, and PXU Native American Education Program. I'm a firm believer of student engagement. I strive for 18 years to get students to be involved with school and the community. I always believe that the more connection the students have with the school and the community, the more resilient skills that they have to be successful as not only as high school students, but also as adults. So I've been working with Native American students all these years, and we have a lot of successful stories. So I want to say thank you again.
Congratulations again to Miss Anaya, and we will go ahead and present the next award to Miss Deborah Toya, who's receiving the Johnson O'Malley Award. And Miss Toya is Navajo. She is a homeschool liaison with the Mesa Public Schools Native American Education Program in the high school at the Mesa Public School District. She has served over 16 years working with Native American students and the community. Over the past 5 years, she has reached out to students outside of her designated school site to provide services and community resources. Ms. Toya has demonstrated a great work ethic in stepping out of her comfort zone to host several cultural lessons virtually. So congratulations, Deborah, and thank you for all that you do for our kids and in our community. Okay. So we'll go ahead and give you a couple of minutes to talk.
Okay. Deborah Toya Yanisha, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, Deborah Toya Yanisha, Kiani. I'm Deborah Toya, and I'm from the Torringhouse clan, born for two people. I'm originally from Tuba City, Arizona. I'm sitting in my car because this is going to be really quick. Thank you. And I'm really grateful to AIEA and ITCA and for giving this award and for giving all of us the recognition as educators. Just and know as an educator how hard at working with our students. I was made to public schools and the capacity of a homeschool liaison. And I've been doing for 10 years, and I really enjoy working with youth. I enjoy schoolers, see the potential that they have and the success that they can achieve. Once again, I'm really grateful, and I'm thankful for receiving this award.
Thank you, Deborah. And you will be receiving a beautiful, awesome shell. It's made of shell. It's a shell necklace and it's a beaded, not beaded, I'm sorry. It's a woven kind of basket design there at the bottom. Okay, so that's going to be yours. And this was made by Della Cruz from the Bobcat Mountain Village. And it is a desert necklace with yucca and bear grass. So congratulations again. Okay, and we will move on to the next award. Okay, and our next award goes to Miss Sophia Salas, sorry, Language Revitalization Award. And Sophia is Fort McDowell Yavapai, is from the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation. She is a language teacher in the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation community. Her goal is to keep the language alive, prevent the Yavapai people from forgetting the language, and to help her people strengthen a connection with the culture. Miss Sales was influenced by her son to teach him the language and has now expanded in creating materials with a hope that language material will help people develop a love and passion for learning Yavapai. So thank you very much, Miss Sophia, for everything that you do. And if you are here, you are welcome to say a few words.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Wonderful. Yes, we can hear you.
Maham Jugagwe. Sophia Sales Nyamolich, Yav Bebjum, Yavapai, like she mentioned, from Fort McDowell. I didn't get a chance to submit a video, so I just want to share a little bit about my experience over the years. First of all, thank you, and I really appreciate, this recognition. I've never gotten an award before for this, and I wasn't expecting it at all. But I'm really glad to be here today. So yeah, I never knew or planned this would ever come to be what it is today with the language material that I've created in my language or our language correction. I just started out years ago looking for ways to teach my young son how to learn Yavapai in a fun way, and I ended up creating worksheets, and he just really enjoyed that and found it to be very helpful in his learning process. So I just decided to keep making them, and he's like, yeah, make more. And it was people from my tribe's community that eventually influenced me to want to combine everything into a book. I had several people over the years ask me about the material and wanting to have it for their own learning needs, for themselves and to teach their children. Sorry, I'm getting a little tearful, emotional, but I wasn't ready to ever release my material that I created for several years because I wanted it to be correct. I wanted it to be accurate. And you spoke a little bit about perseverance, and no matter how long it takes for somebody to create work, we do it because we're passionate about it. Not knowing where it will lead, in the future. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. But I do this because I really enjoyed, the work that I was creating, and I did it to make a difference, like like everybody else does, and to keep the language alive. So yeah, thank you so much for having me here today. And a lot more needs to happen to keep the language, consistent in people's lives. So I I visualize so many things that can be done and have goals and set them. And, you know, there's, you know, I'm very proud of everybody here and happy for you all, you know, getting awards and whatnot. But I hope to eventually work with more people, you know, collaborate, and my vision is to one day, you know, have like a school for the purpose of teaching the language and teaching the history of our Yavapai people with Fort McDowell, and also just like Pi people in general, you know, and make that available for all grades. So I'm in the beginning stages of proposal process. So like I said, if there's anything that I could say to anybody is, you know, pursue your passion. You know, we never know where it will lead. And you know, a lot of the time people make a difference. So, but thank you for having me here today. I appreciate it. And I'm going to continue on in the work I do. You know, I don't do this work when it comes to language. I don't, and like trying to memorize it and learn it and speak it to, you know, I don't only do this for myself. I do this for my children, you know, and I do this for my people. And what's most important is to revitalize it and to preserve it and promote the language, you know, to our people for generations to come. But yeah, perseverance is very important. No matter what we go through in life, we just got to keep at it. And I started back in 2012, I believe. And here today, I recently released material. So, but yeah, I look forward to doing a lot more. And with that, that's all I have to say today. Thank you so much. And I encourage everybody to do the same, to create, you know, to keep your language alive and do whatever it takes, you know, and you know, look for ways to teach it to your children also. So but that's all.
Well, thank you so much, Sophia, for everything that you just shared with us. That's amazing. So absolutely encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. So thank you very much. And so you will be presented with it's a Donatham pottery, and it's a beautiful pottery.
Gorgeous.
It has male and female Otham dancers, and they are wearing their traditional regalia, as you can see, or their traditional clothing, I should say. So congratulations.
I'm gonna put it in my office.
All right, well, thanks again. And then next up, we will go ahead and move to the next award here. Going to be the Administrator Award, and we are presenting that to Ms. Karen Cadenas. And Ms. Cadenas serves as Director of Student Learning with the Phoenix Union High School District. She provides guidance and support for many staff members and several programs, including the Native American Education Program. She's a great advocate for essential programs while ensuring the inclusion and visibility of Native students, staff, and programs. Ms. Cardenas supports the teaching and expansion of Navajo language courses, working with tribes in the communities, and supports programs such as Hoop of Learning. So congratulations, Karen. We do have a video, so we're going to go ahead and play that video now.
Hello, I'm Karen Cardenas, Director of Student Learning in the Phoenix Union High School District. I'm honored and humbled to be here with you in acceptance of the Arizona Indian Education Association Administrator Award. Working closely with our Native American specialist, Lynette Stant, the Native American advisors, parents, tribal communities, staff, and most importantly, our Native American students, I have learned so much about community, family, the power of language, resilience, traditions, and culture. Thanks to the hard work of my colleagues and leadership, PXU is now offering curriculum that honors language, government, and literature that represents our Native students and the Native experience. I want to share my gratitude to the selection committee for granting me this award, considering that there are so many amazing leaders in the state of Arizona. Working with the Native American Education Program has been one of the most rewarding experiences, both professionally and personally, and I am forever grateful for this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Ms. Cadenas, if you would like to say a few words. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm actually at Metro Tech High School right now. We had a professional development session, and I just want to say thank you for the recognition. Lynette, thank you. I also want to actually do a very special shout out to my family, my boys, Tato and Reyes, and my husband, Robert. They're here with me today virtually. But, you know, I grew up in Los Angeles. I was born in El Salvador, grew up in Los Angeles, very urban experience. And thanks to my husband, who was born in Gallup and grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I learned so much about the Native experience and community through his experiences and his family's experience, being from New Mexico. And, you know, I didn't know much coming from a large city where there was not a lot of representation. And over the last 20 years, little by little, I've learned so much. And now that I'm working with the Native American Education Program in Phoenix Union High School District, it's just such an honor. It really is. And having my own boys and my husband join our celebrations, join our family events, it's so meaningful. Like I said, professionally, but also personally, because it's allowing our family to be part of a greater community. And I'm very grateful for that. You know, in Phoenix Union, we're working really hard. And it's truly an honor that we're building curriculum that represents our students. We still have a long way to go. And being surrounded by you all, listening to your experiences and what you have to offer, you know, makes me excited that we're extending our network, because we do want to build additional language opportunities and for our youth. So thank you all. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my leaders at Phoenix Union. And I am very grateful for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. And you will be receiving a beautiful autumn woven basket. And
it's beautiful.
By Georgia Francisco from Onagom, and is a split stitch design as well. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we move on to, I believe, is our final award. And this award goes to Mr. Michael Brown, and it is the Resiliency Award. Mr. Brown is a principal at the Hamam Shawa Early Childhood Development Center on the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation. Mr. Brown serves the community and family with an approach of care, especially during the COVID pandemic, with being an incredible resource. In addition, Mr. Brown worked hours and weekends drafting protocols and practices during the pandemic and was always willing to help, working closely with staff. Mr. Brown acknowledges the community and remains sensitive with a respectful approach, working with the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation, and they are very fortunate to have him serve as their principal. So congratulations, Mr. Brown.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Brown. I'm the principal of the Shawa Early Childhood Development Center located on the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation. I've been employed with Fort McDowell for almost 25 years, and I love my role with the nation. I would like to personally thank my coworkers Leela Williams and Monica Thompson for recommending me for this award. It is an absolute honor to receive this Resiliency Award from the Arizona Indian Education Association. On behalf of myself, staff, and students at Shawa ECDC, and also the community of Fort McDowell, we thank you. Since the onset of COVID-19, our main goal was to continue to provide services to our families. In doing this, we wanted to keep the children and staff safe on a daily basis and to create an environment that the parents feel safe sending their children to. We also realized that our students did not have the ability to be vaccinated, so every measure was taken to keep them safe. We did this by creating protocols in 2020 for staff and parents to follow to help mitigate the spread of COVID. This included mitigation strategies for staff and students to follow on a daily basis. These included masking for all students and staff, temperature checks upon entering the facility, masking required on school buses, proper hand washing performed by students and staff throughout the day, cleaning of high-touch areas in the building multiple times a day, cohorting classes to keep children separate, social distancing, plexiglass was used in tables and classrooms and in the cafeteria. No visitors were allowed into the facility. Pickup and drop-off of students is done outside the facility. Constant communication with staff and parents was also a key component. Consistently following these mitigation strategies has helped keep everyone safe here at Manshawa ECDC. Though it has not been easy, we are dedicated to following our mitigation practices. This has been a team effort from the very beginning, and I appreciate everyone's hard work. Our team at Manshawa ECDC appreciates the recognition of this award. Thank you, AIEA. It's much appreciated.
Good job, sweetheart. Promise to it? Good job, sweetie.
And if you are here today, I'm not sure if you are, but if you'd like to share a few words, that'd be great.
Gamu, on behalf of Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation, I appreciate this prestigious award. Thank you to Monica Thompson and Leila Williams, tribal members who recommended me for this award. Thank you to Fort McDowell for accepting me, taking me in as part of their own. I feel that they're family, and I'm truly blessed to be working there for almost 25 years. I appreciate that. And congratulations to the other award recipients for your work with Native American students and communities. It's a blessing to have you provide those services for them. And thank you so much again. I appreciate the honor.
Absolutely. And Mr. Brown, you will be receiving a brass basket in an Otham style basket. Let me move my hand. And there's a little bit of copper there as well. As we know, that's one thing that Arizona is known for. So you'll be receiving this basket as your award. Congratulations. Okay, and that concludes our awards presentation. We really appreciate all of the awardees, plus their family members, plus colleagues, and all of you who've joined us for the announcement of these awards. Keep doing great things. We love hearing about everything that you're doing. You know, AIEA is here to support you all in any way that we can. So feel free to reach out to us. You can find us at www.itcaonline.com, and you can find AIEA there. So thank you all so much, and a big congratulations to all of our awardees, and have a great rest of your day. But I'm also going to turn it back over to Ms. Esther Nystrom now.
Thank you, Linnea. That is absolutely incredible to hear what our educators are doing across the state. It is these educator champions that AIEA recognizes for their indispensable work and efforts, which makes a significant impact in our Native students' educational journey. We acknowledge you, we honor you, and we celebrate your strengths. Thank you for your continued commitment and dedication to our Arizona Native students. On behalf of the AIEA Educator Awards Review Committee, we thank the AIEA for providing this opportunity to be inspired by all the outstanding work each of these educators portrayed. We look forward to seeing these educators continue to demonstrate commitment to the American Indian community. On behalf of the Arizona Indian Education Association, we thank you for attending this honored event. It has been unprecedented this year for Indian education, but with strength of our ancestors, we have preserved through it all. AIEA. And with that, I would like to introduce our guest speaker for their closing remarks. And so I would like to welcome Ms. Serena Dene-Sosi, who is the Deputy Associate Superintendent of Office of Indian Education, the Arizona Department of Education. Thank you, Serena. Are you?
Yes, I am
All
here.
right. Yate.
Oh, yeah, Esther. Good afternoon, my relatives. For the invitation and the honor to share closing thoughts on this important celebration. I jumped on late, was running from one of my kids' events, but I got to see the awards given out, and that was just really, really beautiful. And I'm so appreciative to AIEA to be able to make sure that our teachers are recognized. I know we're often caught up in everything that we have to do in our different ecosystems of how we're trying to advocate for our students across the state. So I appreciate the opportunity to show gratitude and say to all of our educators, our warriors, our brothers and sisters who work so tirelessly in the last year and a half. But first, let me introduce myself to you in my Dene traditional way. And I just introduced myself to you the way my parents and grandparents taught me to do, that no matter where I go, that when I do this, I'll find relatives. And in my introduction in English is I'm Rockgat, born for Towering House clan. My maternal clan is Bitterwater clan, and my paternal clan is Yucca Strung Out in a Road clan. And I'm originally from Preston Mesa, or Arizona, or some people call it Red Mesa. I grew up with 10 siblings, second to the youngest. I attended the boarding school there in Tuba City. And for high school, I was shipped off to Utah and came back to Arizona and got my bachelor's on my master's degree in social work at ASU. And currently I reside in Phoenix. And I have the honor and the privilege of advocating for our students as the Deputy Associate Superintendent for the Office of Indian Education. And I've been there for it'll be 2 years in October. Like I said, I have 3 kids. I make my life with a gentleman by the name of Greg. We're blessed with 3 children. Our eldest is off to her first year of college this year. That was quite an adaptation. Our second Yaju boy is a junior in high school. And then our youngest, Awet, is entering his junior year this year. So when we do our traditional introduction, it's a way of establishing or kinship. This way of thinking and this practice also extends to the larger sphere. And that is that we're all 5-finger beings and we're all related in some way or another. This traditional teaching also allows us to connect, and it's meant to teach us how to connect to our Nihima Astan, to our Mother Earth, also to our 4-legged and winged friends. And it's also a way to overcome any challenge that we encounter. Through this teaching, we're also connected. Through this teaching and this connection is also how I was asked to share a few words today. So thank you, Kimberly, and as well as the AIEA family for giving me this opportunity, and really a blessing to just share a story about resiliency and use this time to honor our educators who have really endured so much and continue to do so in the important work that we do on advocating on behalf of our children during these challenging times. When we remember different stories growing up, we look back on it now and we either cry, we shake our heads, or we just think, oh my goodness, like the Holy Ones must have been looking out for me, when we think back to what we've gone through. And it also helps us connect back to our vulnerability, and it also helps us to remember that we we're young like our children, and we are reminded of what it feels like to be in those worlds. So I just want to share a really short story. And from that, I hope you are rejuvenated and you find strength. And sometimes we forget that when we're challenged. And then we have a friend or a coworker or somebody that we can share that story with, or that reminds us of our resiliency. So at this moment, I really ask that you do this with me and think of a time where you were younger and your parents or one of your caregivers or one of your relatives showed you love and reminded you of your strength. Because moving forward, that is something I think that it's not a matter of if, we're going to have challenging times, continue to have challenging times. And sharing stories is a way of connecting. I'm come from a very traditional Navajo upbringing, and it's hard for me to be vulnerable and be a public speaker. I think we're allowing some relaxation that it's virtual and you're not in front of a whole bunch of real bodies, and we're learning to share energy in a different way now over the internet. And so I hope that you're able to think of those stories, and that's a way that I use to connect to my children sometimes when there's just no words, right? When we hear of a relative passing, or when we don't always get, when things don't work out the way that we intended. A story is sometimes a little easier. So my story is set to a summertime when I was about 6 or 7. Growing up, I was a real skinny little girl, and my older brother and younger brother used to tease me every time the wind started blowing. They'd hold my shoulders down to just tease me about how skinny and tiny I was. And summertime ceremonies is something that we all looked forward to during the summertime when we came back from the boarding school. And we had plans to head out after the week to go help out at a relative's ceremony. And it was a time to connect with other cousins, and we worked hard. We would play. We also worked hard. We had to help cook or do other things at the ceremony. And the best part of it was we got to role model for each other how we participate in community healing through those events. So I was really looking forward that weekend to us going out to our relatives' home. And so as we sat down to eat, the excitement was building for us to leave. And my dad comes in the door from herding sheep, and he sits down and we're starting to eat, and he says that our departure is going to be delayed because some of the sheep are missing. And I was sitting there listening to this as we were eating, and I remember being so frustrated because I had been looking forward to seeing my cousins all week. And so I just quickly ate, jumped up and left the hogan and went outside, and we had a huge tall tan horse that we were allowed to ride. We had other horses, but that one was so gentle that we could ride, anybody could ride that one. And I took him and brought him up beside the stock rack that we have to transport our cows or our sheep. And I went into the shack, grabbed the saddle blanket, and then began to drag out the saddle, and just climbed the rack, put on the saddle blanket, and then started to get the heavy saddle and took it step by step all the way up the rack and got it on the horse. And I, did all the tightening of reins and put on the bridle and left. And as I turned the horse in the direction of where my dad came back from, my dad comes out of the hogan, and he says, and I was like, and he says, he says, where are you leaving? Where are you headed to? And I said, there's sheep missing. I'm gonna go get them. And the look on his face was as that 6 or 7-year-old, I was a little hurt. He just kind of chuckled and started to laugh, and he took me off the horse and plucked me down on the ground, and he tightened all of my work that I did, all the reins, and then he got on the horse and rode off in the direction of where he brought the sheep back from. And honestly, looking back on it now, I remember feeling small in the moment and silly for thinking that I could do that and that I could leave and just go hurry and get the sheep. It really wasn't until I had my own children, and I'm sure you identify with that, even when we have our own students and we get to get our new class or new people that we get to have the honor of teaching or sharing thoughts with and collaborate with, we feel that way. We remember what it feels like to be scared to ask a question or to ask for support, or when somebody says what's wrong, we don't know if we're going to trust that person. And so I always come back to this of what it felt like to be small and to not have things go your way when you're excited for things. But now thinking back on it, and after having my own children, I recognize that his laughter wasn't because my effort was small or not enough. It was because he was proud of what I had accomplished, and that I made the decision to just act regardless of the obstacles, and that I wanted to see it done. And I think if he didn't come out to stop me, I would have ridden off and found the sheep eventually, I would like to think. But my dad knew when I set my mind to something, I always get it done. And that's something my dad, as well as other relatives, role modeled for me. And that's what I think in these challenging times of the pandemic, we continue to do for our students as well, and our partners and our sisters and all our relatives. We're all in this together, and we're showing each other little by little how resilient we are, and how much power comes in kinship and being vulnerable sometimes and being gentle with ourselves. This time has just been, I just can imagine it is challenging at the state level. I can't even, I hear stories and we get calls, and we're able to connect to teachers and parents and students who reach out to us and tell us what a challenging time this year has been. But I just want you to know that we've all been forced to face the full limitations of our school systems, which in no way we could have anticipated or prepared for. All the drastic changes which were needed to support our students through this pandemic, like the limitations of technology, the food insecurities, the sickness, the loss of life. And I just want to remind you that every time we do this and we climb to get our children and to get our communities back to wisdom, back to all the work that we have to do to get them back to be feeling hopeful, we can do it. And as long as we lean on each other and as long as we work together, there's nothing that our communities and our ties can't overcome. And I just want to thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart, and our children and our parents, our caregivers, and our relatives for showing up every day to support our students. The pandemic has just shown us the areas that need strengthening in our systems. It's also shown us the strength of who we are as five-fingered beings and the dedication that we have to our students. And I can't thank you enough for the heart with which you give to make your lessons more impactful. I'm sorry that I can't thank you enough for the heart that you put in your lessons, which make things so impactful. Sometimes we will never know, or we won't see the impact of that, but know that it is making an impact. the vision you share can also help your students see more clearly a future that they've never imagined, because we've never had to work through something like this at such a humankind level. And we have the opportunity to teach our children how to be resilient together and not siloed in our different areas. And it's really a beautiful thing to see all through this pandemic, all the relationships that we've built and will continue to build, because it's offered that opportunity to work in a different manner now. And I really have seen and believe that we will continue to do that. So I just want to say Ahiya and Taga for answering the call to be an educator, and that the work that we do, the hard effort that we put in, we may not see right away, like I said, or the impact you've made, but the care and the support that you facilitated will blossom as our students and our youth become leaders themselves. And it's because of you and your work that you've done that paved the pathway or created that foundation to do that. So thank you so much, AIEA and Kimberly, for inviting me here today to speak to you and express my gratitude to all the educators and the impact that we're making for our students. Our people have always shown resilience regardless of the obstacles we face. And there's no better representation of this resilience than the women and men in Native education today. So thank you so much again, Taga.
Serena, thank you very much for your inspiring words. And so we are really close to closing. We are over time, which is okay, because we'd love to acknowledge our educators here. And I don't want our president's words to get lost within this chat. So I'm going to go ahead and read what she has typed for all of you. She said, thank you to each and every educator, community member, and administrator for your continued support of Native students in Arizona. We appreciate your time in being here with us. We want you to know we acknowledge you and that your voice makes a significant difference in providing strength, resiliency, and encouragement for our Native community. May our Creator bless each of you as you continue forward in your educational journey. Sapo. And then I don't want to mess up what she wrote here. I have from herself as well. One moment. Okay, so just people are typing in their congratulations on the chat there. One last piece that we have is our closing prayer. And so we ask McGill to come back on. After he is finished, I will announce the award winners for the silent auction. And those items that have not been bid on, we will leave for another time. So if you have any last bids, please text to the number. I don't have that number on me right now, but please text it. It'll be typed in here in a second, and the item number. So Mr. McGill Flores, are you available to present the closing blessing?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody. Thank you.
Again, Los Centennial, first of all, I want to say congratulations to all those educators that were honored today, but also for all those donations, the young artists and older artists that donated their items for this worthy cause. So thank you everybody for that. So there's some chocotesia, and with the permission, I'd like to close your event with this closing prayer. Señor Itamacha, once again, Grandfather, we thank you for this new day of life, which you bless upon us, Grandfather. We thank you for these relatives that we gather here today, Grandfather. We thank you for all those educators out there that help our children to learn, to gain knowledge, to gain strength. We thank their families, their parents, their elders, their communities for the work that they do in supporting their children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, and their educational journeys. We ask you to continue to keep them strong and healthy. As we know, as Indigenous people, it takes a village to raise a child. And again, we ask blessings for all those that have helped shape, mold our children to the people that they are today. We thank Creator for the gifts in which He has blessed with every single one of us, for the gifts that we're able to share with our children, for those things that have been taught from us, from our elders, from generation to generation, that we continue to share this knowledge with our young people, where they become strong, young, and strong individuals as they go through the path of life, but that we might continue to keep our knowledge, our strength, our wisdom, our stories for next generations to come. Grandfather, once again, we thank you for this day. We thank you for these gifts. We thank you for the many words of encouragement, many words of wisdom that were shared with us today, Grandfather. And with these few words, we thank you once again. So los them chocotese itamacha ata'a. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miguel, for sending us off with a good blessing, I hope. All right, if you have bid on some items, you're welcome to stay on. The items that have not been bid on will be held for another time. So the earring and mask holder set, congratulations to Anna Cuddington. The Bluebird cup, mouse holder and cup holder will go to Rebecca Lee. The beaded fringe earrings will go to Rebecca Lee. Thank you, Miss Rebecca. The Concord purple earrings will go to Rebecca Lee. The beaded earrings, the white ones with the pearl in the middle, will go to Rochelle Begay. Thank you for your bid. The Native American beaded medallion will go to Tony Nystrom. The painting storm pattern, the winner of that is Nadine Gronig. Thank you for your bid. The Tree of Life painting, the winner of that is Derwin Begay. Congratulations. The Ganado Bee painting, the new owner of that is Travis Lane. And so those are the items that were bid on. If you would like to continue to bid on any of the items, I think we're going to keep that open until this evening, until 8 p.m. Text the number right here. It's on the chat, and you can also see these items on our AIEA website. Is www.itca.com, and go to the programs tab, and you'll see AIEA on there, and then just click on the auction items. They're also located as well. Text 480-452-4867. Thank you for entering that information into the chat. We'd also like, again, to thank our sponsors, ITCA, ASU, and U of A, and also those who donated all of the items for the auction. You make this successful. Thank you all to all the educators and administrators who continue to serve our students. Ahiaha, and many blessings to you. Thank you for joining us.